Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a great day. Action at the supervolcano. We watch the supervolcano very close. We touch on the activity at the supervolcano every day. In every video, practically every video. Some videos I may not stop by the supervolcano, but it's always a priority because it's a big deal. We're going to talk about what's going on. Last one, 207. Sirius Astros Energy. What's going on, guys? God, hello from Texas. God, how we doing today, guys? Crystalline Goddess, Mama J, Jackie, Lori Rose. Thank you, Lori Rose, a new star family member. What's going on, Paola? Lost in Space, Paola Rodriguez. Felicia J from Pennsylvania. It's going to be getting cold up there in Pennsylvania, guys. Scott Alderfer, thank you, Scott, from Souderton, Pennsylvania. Going to get cold up there. Scott, I'll show you guys on the satellite radar, the one that I use. It's in infrared. You'll be able to see that the cold air starting to dip down from the polar vortex. Hello from Minneapolis, T. Rose, Oklahoma, Stephen K. What's going on, guys? Awakened One. Hi from Maine. What's up, Susie? Add B if you're watching. I'll mention it again here later on in the video because you may not be here yet. But AZ Watchwoman 777, that's my neighbor. Not literally, we share the same state. But Add B, I'm working on your video. Add B shared actually two really cool videos that I wanted to share with you guys, and I will. Scott says it's cold right now. I believe it's Scott. And my friend, it's probably going to get a little colder. Yes, sir. MJA from northern Utah, Sandy from Alabama, Karen from central Michigan, Richard from Buffalo, New York. Going to get cold in Buffalo, too. Evening from Michigan, Delray Beach, Lady Night, Terry. What's going on, guys? Brooks from Mexico. Got a lot of people from all around the world. Greetings from, let me see, Janet Ruth Haynes. I've got this thing. Greetings from Oz. Right on. Great Lakes. Jen Teal. New York, Sweden. Colin from the Philippines. Jeffrey from Katy, Texas. We're going to talk about the Yellowstone supervolcano today in this video and what's happening at the supervolcano. Again, we stop by here every day, and some days there's nothing at all to report. The supervolcano is actually very quiet, and today, different story. There's action at the supervolcano, the mighty supervolcano. And I'll tell you what I think's causing this action. We talked about it a couple of days ago in a video following the large X-class solar flare. Arizona Raven, The Reality by Jay Rocco from Pittsburgh. Greetings from Texas. Knoxville, Tennessee, Kaleidoscope Eyes. Surfer Girl from Central Vermont. Charlie from Michigan. What's up, guys? Crystalline Goddess, Ozarks. I've been to the Ozarks once or twice back in the day. Michelle from Brazil. Right on. Big Boom from Barcelona. I'm assuming that's Spain. I heard there was another Barcelona. Wisconsin. What's going on, Heidi? Awakened One. Just sent an email. I'll check it out. Awesome Huge Cloud. Always like those. Yakima, Washington. Hello, B Candle. Deb Sutton from Lakeland, Florida. Danielle from Chandler, Arizona. What's up, Chandler? Used to live in Chandler. Yeah. Very familiar with Chandler, Arizona. Jose from Maryland. Right on. Yeah, Chandler's just right that way. Just a few minutes. I lived there for years. Yeah, very familiar with Chandler. Cool place, cool town. Right on. We got As the World Burns from the United Kingdom. Orange One from Maryland. South Shields, UK. Makiro. And Timothy from Maine. All right, guys. Thanks for sharing part of your Thursday with me. It's always a pleasure to see everybody in the chat room. You guys, as I've always said before, you cease to amaze me. You're some of the smartest people on earth. When I was showing you these rocks that I keep on my desk. I have a few today, not too many. I just keep them sitting around. I like the positive energy that I feel from these different things that are on my desk. Today I have a piece of polished obsidian that is kind of hanging out with me today, like you guys are. DS895 from North Carolina. What's up from St. Paul, Minnesota? John or J. John. I know a John J. Jace Ventura back in the house. What's up, Jace? While I'm thinking about it, before I forget, because I always do forget, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have a lot of people that, not a lot, but every once in a while I'll get a flurry of people that say, hey man, why did you unsubscribe me from your YouTube channel? I have no control over that, so I can't do that. I wouldn't even if I could. But if you're a current subscriber, please check, make sure that you are still subscribed, because for unknown reasons, you can become unsubscribed. If you're a new viewer and you would like to subscribe, by all means do so. You don't have to. Nobody's going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. But if you would like to subscribe and be notified whenever I upload new videos in the future, click on that bell next to the subscribe button, and you should be notified each time I upload a video. But check that subscribe button, guys, and make sure you're still subscribed. Because I've had a lot of long-time subscribers, for unknown reasons, become unsubscribed and say, man, I didn't know you uploaded a video. And this would be like 2 weeks later. They didn't get notified. Don't use obsidian. Just at Christy Jensen right there, some obsidian. But you're right. But I like the different things of the world. I know a guy that's like a modern day Indiana Jones, and he is a wealth of knowledge. He's overflowing with wisdom. The man's traveled the world collecting these things literally all over the earth, and I enjoy talking to him. And he's just got quite a collection of things from all over the world. But anyway, here we are at the homepage of the website, MrMBB333.com. Kelso from the state of Washington. Almost looks like the sky, or it looks like there's a fire in the sky, or there's a big raging wildfire in Washington, and that's not the case. This is a photo from just a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, maybe tops, of a fiery looking sunset. Get a load of that sky, would you? And that's unedited. It's exactly the way I received it from Kelso out of the state of Washington. I'd like to welcome the newest Star Family members. If you guys would be interested in becoming a Star Family member, you can do so by clicking on the link down below in the description box. And the newest members are Matt Kelly, who joined 0 days ago, actually yesterday, and Lori Martin. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. If you would be interested in becoming a Blue Star member, again, you can find the link to do so down below in the description box. I live for crystals. Lori Flynn. I've got some crystals, got some, not a lot, but my son got involved with a video game. What's the one with all the minerals and stuff? I can't think of it now. It's a video game where you make things out of minerals. You guys know. Yes, Yellowstone. We're getting to Yellowstone here in just a minute. I kind of got off topic here, but I think it was, what's the name of the video game where you collect minerals and you make things? I'm not a video guy. Eric B. from Sacramento. I'll think of it here in a minute, but he got into that, and I started showing him different types of rocks and stuff, that comes out of volcanoes and different things, and he was very intrigued by all that. So we started a little Minecraft. There you go. See, you guys are the smartest people in the world. Angela and Richard, you guys got it. That's it. Exactly. Minecraft. And once he started seeing these things in real life form, he was playing with, in the game Minecraft. He took a liking to it. So Minecraft actually taught him something. So anyway, guys, back to the topic at hand. Here we go. Right now, I want to show you guys something that's going on. Earth is currently engulfed in a proton storm. And I know that sounds like super nefarious. It's not. It's not. But this is what the polar regions of the Earth look like on this particular graph. This is the ionosphere D region. And as you can see, looking at the north and south poles, right now, and then it's been like this for the better part of 24 hours, you can see that something it looks different. It doesn't look quiet. There's a disturbance there's currently a disturbance underway in the southern pole region of the Earth and in the North Pole region of the Earth. And the X flare from a few days ago is still interacting not only with the Earth, but these things interact with the entire solar system. But the Earth is the only thing that we're primarily concerned with because that directly affects us, right? Well, anyway, we're in the middle of a proton storm right now. And we talked about a couple of days ago how these X flares can influence earthquakes and they can influence volcanic activity, right? There's the X flare from just a few days ago. I think right around 72 hours ago. There's a good look at the X flare in slow motion over here at the Solar Dynamics Observatory. Earth received a glancing blow, and this is what's going on. The glancing blow that we received is still interacting with the Earth, causing radio blackouts in the very high latitudes of the Earth. We talked about how the 7.5 magnitude earthquake in Japan was more than likely influenced somewhat by this very large X-class solar flare. And I think Yellowstone is reacting to this X-class solar flare, and quite possibly some that are on their way. We could see more solar activity, obviously, in the near future as the Earth-facing side of the sun is getting more and more active. I have a video I want to share with you guys, sent in by Scott out of Shelton, Connecticut. In fact, we'll get to that right now. But just know, right now, we're in the middle of a proton storm. The Earth is literally dealing with all of this energy from the sun, from the X-class solar flare. And coincidentally, there's activity at the Yellowstone supervolcano. Yeah. So is that a coincidence? Of course not. It's not a coincidence. Like the earthquake that happened the other day, that was not a coincidence. Following the large earth or the large X flare earthquake. Now we're seeing volcanic activity. Nothing on a large scale, but you never know. I wanted to show you guys something else. Where are we at? Okay. Okay, that was the proton storm. Oh, the Earth-facing side of the sun. Here we go. Here's a look at the sunspot situation. Video footage sent in by Scott out of Shelton, Connecticut from right around 24 hours ago. And this is the active region that produced a very large X-class solar flare. And you can't tell by looking at this video here, but there's positive energy in here. We'll call it energy, positive energy, negative energy. When that energy collides like that, boom, it creates a flare. M flare, C flare, sometimes an X flare. Well, that's what happened in this region here. There was an X flare that was produced and an M flare, I think just about 12 hours ago. But the magnetics, the orientation of the magnetics were off. They were tilted a little bit to the left, or if not completely upside down, which is uncharacteristic for the positioning of the delta, beta, gamma magnetics in these types of active regions. Well, it produced a very large solar flare that is still interacting with the Earth in the form of a proton storm, and I think it's causing this swarm of energy at the Yellowstone supervolcano. There's an earthquake swarm underway right now as I do this video. This is the M flare that occurred less than 24 hours ago right there. Looks like possibly an M4, maybe an M3. Strong solar flare, came from the same region. And you can see some activity over here in the last couple of hours. You can see that active region is still active. Nothing major, but it could go at any time because the magnetics are there. Here's the D region of the Earth. This is the most latest data, or the most recent data. And you can see the Earth is still occupied with just overwhelmed with protons from the sun. Here's a look at the supervolcano caldera. These are the seismographs, just like the global seismographs that you see over here that monitor the entire Earth. These seismographs monitor the supervolcano. Here's what's up, man. There are all kinds of earthquakes over here in the northwestern, and not only just the northwestern quadrant, but through the center of Yellowstone Lake, down in the southwestern part of the caldera, southern part of the caldera, near Old Faithful. You don't hardly ever see earthquakes near Old Faithful. Mary Lake. Look at all of this earthquake activity. Let me zoom in a little closer. This is at the Yellowstone supervolcano, and I'll show you why. We're seeing all of this activity on these seismographs. There's a swarm not far from here, and this energy is being detected over here at the supervolcano. What's causing the swarm? Is it the sun? Is it the X flare that's still interacting with the Earth that's causing the ongoing proton storm that's underway right now as I do this video, that's causing radio blackouts in the upper latitudes of the Earth? Still happening from the very strong solar flare that departed the sun. There was a CME component that departed the sun at 3.5 million miles per hour. Just for comparison, if you guys, which I know you guys are very, very intelligent over here. You're familiar with the Carrington event of 1859. The Carrington event was a very strong solar flare, probably an X40. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was a very large X-class solar flare that was traveling at over 6 million miles per hour. Over 6 million, I think 6.5 million miles per hour. So yesterday, or the solar flare that we saw the other day, traveling at 3.5 compared to the Carrington event, about half the speed, but still very powerful. And we know what the sun is at least capable of doing with regard to the Carrington event, but we don't know what the sun is completely capable of doing. We're still trying to understand that. But if we were to have a very large, something bigger than an X-class solar flare, which I don't even know how you would categorize that, could it set off volcanoes? Could it trigger more earthquakes? Yeah, I would say so, right? We're seeing it already on a smaller scale. So if it were to get bigger as we enter solar cycle 25, in fact, solar cycle 25, that was X flare number 20. I keep track of all that information over here at the homepage of the website. What you see above the X-class solar flares, which that last one was number 20 of solar cycle 25, that's the solar flux. That's a number that fluctuates, and it fluctuates with the amount of active regions and sunspots that are on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Here's the ongoing swarm at Yellowstone, right over in this area, just to the north and west of that region, a 3.3 about 24 hours ago, right there in that area. All of the yellow ones that you see are from the last 24 hours. There are several earthquakes in this area, ongoing swarm at Yellowstone, more than likely instigated by the very strong X-class solar flare right there. So if we see more, will Yellowstone respond to the solar activity? Probably so. Will we see more earthquakes if we see more X-class solar flares? Probably so. We see it often. We've seen it in the past. And if the past is anything, if the past tells us what the future is going to bring, then more than likely we will probably see more earthquakes and swarms. But right now there's a swarm. It's contained to this area. This is the same area where the 7.5, it's close. I think this is the same area. Hebgen Lake, the 7.2 that occurred back here a few years ago in 1959, I think, was up in this area here near Hebgen Lake, right in the West Yellowstone area. So this swarm that's currently underway is east of the 7.2 area that occurred many years ago, 1959. There's an ongoing swarm underway at the supervolcano. I want to show you something. These are the global seismographs. These seismographs here are positioned all around the world. Venezuela, South Pole, and Antarctica. I mean, these things are everywhere. Brazil, Greenland, New Zealand. Just give you an example of some of these that we're looking at right here. Mexico, Arizona, right out here where I'm at, Argentina, Mongolia, Indiana, all across the United States, Tennessee. But check this out. I want you to see something. Notice the seismographs. Pay attention here. Notice the seismographs in Montana. Look, they're trying to tell us something. They have a story to tell. Montana, Wyoming. Guess what's nearby these seismographs? The Yellowstone supervolcano. These are the global seismographs. Check it out. Idaho. Look, this is ongoing right now as I do this video. There's some sort of activity being detected in the ground in Montana, Wyoming, obviously, where the volcano's at, Idaho. Check it out. Look, some sort of weird pulses or something in the ground. Is that evidence of the solar activity that we've just seen, the very strong solar activity? Look here, Snow King Mountain, Wyoming. Look, those are like pulses in the ground. What is going on here? Let's just click on it and see. It'll take us right to the seismograph. Look at that. Something going on there, guys. There is action, not only at the supervolcano, but around the supervolcano. That whole area up there is feeling something right now. Donna Young. Hey, Donna, welcome to the Star family. Welcome aboard. I'm going to take you guys to another place. Check this out. Teton Pass, Wyoming, not far from the supervolcano caldera, right, Donna? Right here it is. Look at this glitch right here. Are you serious? It goes off the charts. So when I said there was action at the supervolcano, not only a swarm, but there's other things going on around the supervolcano caldera. Teton Pass, Wyoming. Get a look at this seismograph. That stuff shouldn't be on there unless it's detecting something. All of these seismographs can't be wrong. They're trying to tell a story. Here's another one, Pearl Lake, Idaho. Check it out. Showing the same exact type of signatures at around the same exact time. And they're still doing it. This is the most recent data from these seismographs. They have a story to tell, and we're listening and we're trying to interpret what story they're telling us. Are they just now feeling the energy from the X-class solar flare? I mean, that energy, guys, when you see a large solar flare like that, just give you an example right here. That energy from that large solar flare, not only it impacts the Earth, but it goes all throughout the solar system. It sends shock waves through the solar system. And apparently, this supervolcano on Earth, Yellowstone supervolcano, is reacting to some of that energy today. Why today? Why not the same day as the eruption? You know, the not volcanic eruption, but the X flare. Here's another one, Dillon, Montana. All of these locations are in the vicinity of the supervolcano. So is there action at Yellowstone and near Yellowstone? 100%. Look at this. It's like there's some sort of weird pulses in the ground. I remember one time, Donna Young, I tracked a pulse from, and look just like this up here. Look at the very top. See that pulse right there? That is at the 12 o'clock, or not 12 o'clock, 12-minute position. Each graph, each column here represents 10 minutes. There's 6 columns, and obviously 6 columns represent an hour. One time I tracked a pulse from, where was it? Connecticut, New Hampshire, all the way across the country on these graphs. I tracked it from, I think it was New Hampshire, quite possibly Maine, but I tracked it from the far East Coast all the way over to the West Coast. And each time I could tell it was moving from east to west because the graphs were showing, it took it about 22 minutes. This pulse was changing locations on the graph whenever I would change states. I went from Maine to Ohio to Minnesota, Montana, all the way over to Washington, and you can see the pulse traveling all the way across the country. So that's what these remind me of over here at Fox Creek, Wyoming. Look, they look like pulses. And I remember tracking these things years ago. I used to track them across the country. Every once in a while, I would see rogue ones on here that didn't make any sense, like this one up here. It's kind of a rogue glitch on the graph. Well, one time they weren't rogue. They were telling a story of something moving through the ground from, let's say, southern Maine to the state of Washington, and it made the trip in 22 minutes, according to this graph. So these graphs always have a story to tell. If you really want to be a super sleuth and track this energy, you can. It's trackable. I've done it. But what's going on here? I don't know. These seismographs are reacting very, very similar to one another. you can see you can see the dark black energy showing up on the bottom of the seismographs. The bottom is the most recent energy. Obviously, the top is 23 hours ago. It just kind of scrolls up. So the bottom is showing us what's going on now. It's feeling something now. I don't know if that's evidence of the swarm. I don't think the swarm would be detected on these. And not only that, that's not swarm behavior. You're looking at that; those look like some sort of a pulse in the ground. An earthquake is a jagged line that goes up and a jagged line that goes down. It has a peak and a downside. That's a pulse. Why are we seeing pulses in the ground showing up on these seismographs in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, not far from the supervolcano? Pretty wild. There's something going on, and these seismographs are showing, at least in the supervolcano area, this little anomaly right here. It's on all of the seismographs as well. This is at Moose Ponds, Wyoming, at the 12-minute position. This was just after midnight. Right there, you can see some sort of a pulse, or maybe it was an earthquake. I don't think so. There it is again. Some sort of a quick anomaly that showed up on the graph. May have been an earthquake. That looks more like an earthquake. These do not, whatever they are. But again, they have a story to tell. What that story is and where it come from, we'll just have to watch and see. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself. Seeing a little bit of the same type of activity, but nothing near. Here's another seismograph in Eagleton, Montana, showing the same type of signature, just not as strong. See? They're like pulses. And they're very random, but they're steady. I don't know. But there is something going on at the supervolcano. We're going to watch it very close. We watch it every day. We stop by the supervolcano every single day, pretty much. We always check it. It's an important place. You know, it's if the supervolcano is acting up, we want to know about it. You know, sometimes it'll act up. You know, on a small scale, we'll see little earthquakes here and there, but not like this. We're seeing an ongoing swarm that coincidentally is following a very large X-class solar flare that more than likely has instigated this swarm. That would be my guess. That'd be my very first guess. So something going on, as you can see the seismographs. These are the seismographs at the supervolcano right here. And you can see for the last 24 hours, at least 20 hours, very active. There are earthquake signatures all over the place at Norris Junction, Mary Lake, Purple Mountain, Madison River, Maple Creek, the west boundary, I think all the way, look at Old Faithful. Old Faithful showing signs of earthquake activity. Serious. Moose Creek, decent size one there, but not huge, but steady. A lot of action at the supervolcano that we don't normally see. So will we see more? Yeah, probably so, especially if we see more large X-class solar flares. Wow. So once again, an ongoing swarm at the Yellowstone supervolcano on the heels of a very large X-class solar flare that's still affecting the Earth. We are in the middle of, in case you're just joining us, we are in the middle of a proton storm right now. Earth is engulfed in energy, and it took a while to get here. I'm surprised because the solar flare was very quick, very big. The CME that came off, from what I saw right here, you can see it for yourself right in here. You can see how fast it came off, and that's in slow motion right there. You can see it. I'm surprised it's just now getting here, unless there's something else going on. I don't know for sure. Usually doesn't take that long. But this graph is highly accurate. I check this graph all the time. In fact, the graph that you're looking at is over here on the homepage of the website. It's right here. This tab that says Incoming Sun Storms. If you click on that tab, look where it takes you. I'm sorry, this one right here, Ionosphere D region. If you click on it, look where it takes you, to that graph. But the one that I just clicked on, this shows you the solar flares en route. And as of right now, I don't think there's any. There might be one coming up on the 8th. Let's look and see. It's showing some sort of activity over here on the 8th, potential activity. and that's probably just the pinwheel. So probably from a coronal hole. So no solar flares inbound. This is the ionosphere D region that, again, you can see the South Pole is dealing with an abundance of energy, North Pole dealing with an abundance of energy. Sometimes that definitely causes radio blackouts in the 30 megahertz range. Sometimes it affects airplane radio traffic if planes are flying up near the polar region. But yeah, that it's still going on right now as I do this video. Energy showing up on seismographs that's of mysterious origins. You know, these are showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 8, 9 hours over here at Snow King Mountain in Wyoming. That energy's been steady, persistent for the last 8 or 9 hours. And the earthquake swarm has been going on for a couple of days. So whatever is occurring here these last 8 or 9 hours is something kind of new that are showing up on these seismographs. And again, the seismographs are telling a story. We just have to interpret this information and understand what this story, what it means. You know, if anything, is the volcano starting to get more and more active? Obviously, that could happen. Of course, it's a supervolcano. So something that we're keeping a close eye on, guys. The supervolcano is active today. There is an active swarm currently underway at Yellowstone on the heels, coincidentally, and it's no coincidence, on the heels of the X-class solar flare that departed the sun right around 72 or so hours ago. I want to show you guys the cold air. I noticed people were saying that it's getting cold, starting to get cold. And we talked about the polar vortex splitting in two. Now we have dual vortex in the northern hemisphere. Who was that over there? Maha 333G. Thank you, Maha 333G. That's very kind of you. Check out the polar vortex up here. We have two now, but notice the cold air, or we're going to interpret this wind here coming down into Canada. Our friends up in Canada, that would be up in the Northwest Territories, Yellowknife region. But look at where the cold air is dipping down into the Great Lakes region, or at least it looks like it's going to, right? Well, it is. Check this out. This map shows us the cold air. It has a story to tell, just like those seismographs. They have a story to tell. We just have to know how to read it and interpret it. This map has a story to tell. We have to know how to read it, understand it, interpret it. The light purple up there is super cold air. Where is it coming from? Right there. So that's no coincidence that cold air is coming down from the Arctic Circle between the two polar vortexes, and it's in this exact region right there. And we're seeing light purple right there in that same region of the Great Lakes. That's cold air coming down, and it's going to start getting colder. And you guys out east in Pennsylvania, you guys could see some snow. New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, you guys could see some snow coming up this weekend. Just depends on where you're at, how much you're going to get, and how much snow you're going to see. But there's the cold air. It's coming down. It's dipping down into Canada right now as I do this video, and it's going to dip further down into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and places like that. Yep, getting cold. Who's that? Lori Steck, getting cold up there. It is going to start getting cold, and that's why the polar vortex is starting to wander. So as it wanders, that cold air is going to start to come down into the lower latitudes. It's been corralled up in the Arctic. That's why it's been such a mild winter, because the polar vortex has been pretty steady. Now it's going to start to wander, and things are going to get pretty cold. Here's a look at some of the earthquakes from just today, the last 24 hours, a 3.3. I showed you guys this location earlier on the other map, but this is a close-up view. 3.3, and then there was a 2.2 and a 2.0. And some of these earthquakes were within 1 minute of each other. They occurred within, I think, 1 minute. There were 3 earthquakes almost back to back in this swarm here. That were very, very close together. They're fairly shallow earthquakes, not the strongest earthquakes ever, but nevertheless, those are earthquakes, an earthquake swarm at a supervolcano, and that, my friends, is a big deal. Absolutely it is. You can see the cold air over here on Google Earth. Check it out. See the milky looking features in the higher altitudes of the atmosphere. That's cold air. That's what that means. That's cold, cold air. There it is right there. That light purple is cold air. It's going to get cold. Going to get cold, guys. Here's the earthquakes that were pretty much back to back. Check this out. 2 at West Yellowstone, 1 at 5:10 p.m. This is yesterday. 1 at 5:10 p.m. Right there, January 3rd. And then 1 at 5:11 p.m. 60 seconds later, there was a 3.3 and then a 2.2. The 2.2 was very shallow. And then at 5:14, Sprague, Washington, a 2.2, almost on the surface. Look at that. At 0.4 miles deep, that's less than a half a mile deep. So in a span of 4 minutes, we saw 3 earthquakes, 2 at Yellowstone in Montana, or West Yellowstone in Montana, and 1 up in Washington. So yeah, these seismographs that we looked at earlier, again, they have a story to tell. They're trying to tell us something. Obviously, we're all ears. We're listening. We're watching, like we do every day. We check out the Yellowstone supervolcano every video, well, at least 95% of the time. You guys know that. You've heard me say the mighty supervolcano for years. I come here all the time. It's something that I watch very closely because the supervolcano is kind of a big deal. It is to me. Here's a look at the comet. I wanted to give you guys a quick update on the comet. We're 94 days away from the possibly coolest solar eclipse ever on April 8th of 2024. Here's the path of totality going from southwest Mexico all the way up to Newfoundland and thousands of miles in between in Texas and Kentucky and Oklahoma, Illinois, Indiana, all the states you see right there. We're waiting on this comet, ancient time traveler 12P Pons Brooks. It is getting closer and closer. That comet's going to be in the daytime sky during the solar eclipse. You can't make this stuff up, man. That is absolutely wild. Here's a look at the comet, in case you haven't seen it. Every once in a while, this thing's been known to throw a fit. It's kind of got a temperamental personality, you know. It's an ice volcano comet, and every once in a while, they say about every 15 days, give or take a day or two, this thing will throw a fit. It'll erupt, and when it erupts, it creates a wing-like feature or features, horns they call it. These astronomers have never seen anything quite like this guy right here. That's about the size of Houston, Texas. So here's the deal. On April 8th of 2024, during the peak of the solar eclipse, when the sun looks just like that, we could be joined by something that looks similar to this. An ancient time traveler, right? Mrs. Handy RU, I'm surprised in simple gematria 151. Who am I? Okay, that's cool. Now here we go. This is but thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. This is what the sky could look like on April 8th of 2024. Are you serious? When day turns to night and the eclipse is in full swing, you could look up if you're in a cloud-free zone during the eclipse and you're in the path of 100% complete totality, and I'll show you guys the path right here. You can see what looks like a daytime star next to the sun. It'd be this thing right here. One just like it, not this one. This is McNaught, by the way. But it could look something like that. It could have dual tails. Could have what look like wings. I mean, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But this could be one of the most photogenic solar eclipses ever. So we're going to be in the path of totality somewhere in here where there's the least amount of cloud cover. Maybe Dallas, maybe Fort Worth, maybe Austin, maybe somewhere in Arkansas. I don't know. We're going to have to wait until it gets closer to the date. And right now we're 94 days away. Probably have to wait until we're about 10 days away in order to get an accurate forecast. But right here, it's showing you the path of totality going through Ohio over here at greatamericaneclipse.com. Ontario, Canada, going right through the Great Lakes area, going up into Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Wow, it's going to be a long journey traveling from Southwest Mexico all the way up into Newfoundland. But there's the path of totality. And again, you can look up and potentially see what looks like a daytime star. Wow. So we're going to be recording live from the path of totality during this event, this historic event. And we could see, well, we will see the comet's inbound. It's coming. It's going to be in this vicinity right here, visible from Earth. You'll be able to see it with the naked eye. So I'm going to have a camera recording the comet. I'm going to have the live stream on the solar eclipse. Maybe, hopefully both. Maybe they'll both be in the field of view. I'm going to try, but I'm definitely recording that comet as it's revealing itself during the eclipse and as it disappears. That's going to be a video all by itself. Once again, on April 8th of 2024. Total solar eclipse, and it should be one for the record books, one that will be talked about probably forever, because I don't think there's ever been one like this. A comet coming in, joining the eclipse, and not only that, a very feisty comet, an unusual comet, one that astronomers say they've hardly ever seen, or never, some astronomers, veteran astronomers, say they've never seen anything like it. Wild stuff. You can't make this stuff up. So if you want to see the eclipse, if you're not in the path of totality, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll try to get this to you the very best that I can. I'm going to try to be in a place where there's no clouds, and we're going to record this eclipse. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that notifications bell right there. You got to click that bell if you want notified whenever I upload a video. I'm going to do a live stream on April 8th of 2024 from one of these locations somewhere in between Texas and quite possibly Newfoundland. Wherever the weather is the best, that's where we're going to be recording this historic eclipse. Seriously, it could be one of the most photogenic ever. Comet coming in, joining the party. Unbelievable. So we're 94 days and 16 hours away from quite possibly one of the most photogenic solar eclipses ever. Unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, once again, ongoing swarm at the Yellowstone supervolcano. If we have more solar activity, which that's a very good possibility because the Earth-facing side of the sun is getting more and more active, will we see more earthquakes? Will we see more volcanic activity? Pretty good chance we will. But right now, all eyes are on the Yellowstone supervolcano as the caldera seems to be vibrating with energy right now. A lot of earthquakes, earthquake swarm underway, and I think this is influenced or being influenced by the recent very strong solar activity because Earth is right now in the middle of a full-on proton storm engulfed in protons from the very large X-class solar flare. Last one, 207, come to Maine. We'll put you up and cook you a wonderful homemade meal. Oh, that's so kind. You know what? I might just come to Maine. Might take you up on that. If there's no clouds, I'm looking for the place that's got the best weather, where there's no clouds. I'm sure your food is wonderful too, but I really do. I want no clouds of any kind. I want a pristine view of this once in a lifetime. It'd be once in a generation event, probably, guys. I can't recall a solar eclipse ever being joined by a comet that's been traveling for who knows how long, and it's going to join the sun and the moon and the earth right as there's a perfect alignment of the sun, the moon, and the earth. It's going to join at that perfect moment. You can't make this stuff up, and I'm surprised they have made a movie about this already. If not, I'm sure they will. Wow. Skywatcher, Missouri, come to the Ozarks. I'm invited. Well, thank you. If the weather's good, we'll be in the Ozarks. You know it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the invite. How's it going, Daniel, Dennis, Sarah, Quay Versteeg? I hope I got that right. Versteeg. I hope I got that right. Bloomington here. Tammy in Bloomington. Mark Branham. Adrian Tia. What's up, guys? How's it going? earthquakes in Yellowstone. There are earthquakes in Yellowstone, and the swarm continues. It's ongoing right now as I do this video. All right, guys, if you have any photos or videos you'd like to share, I'm sure you know what to do. Send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. If you guys have any videos you'd like to share that are a little bit too big for the email, they won't attach to the email, because I've had that happen before in the past. Just like with subscribers, people say, oh, I was subscribed, I got unsubscribed. That's happened in the past before too. Just a simple, just resubscribe, no big deal. But if you have a video that's too big, come over here to the homepage of the website. My website's MrMBB333.com. You can also find the website at earthwatchman.com. Whichever you prefer. Takes you to the same place, brings you right here. Click on this red banner that says, have a large video. I'll show you. We'll click on it. Here we go. Click on the red banner. It's a very simple drop box. You can just drag your photos. You can drag your videos. They can be big. I had somebody send me one the other day that was an hour and 25 minutes long. So bring them on, send them, put your big video files in there. Please include your first name, date, and location. I don't need your last name, but if you want to include that, that's great. But at least your first name, first initial, if that makes you feel better, date and location. Need that location. That location is important, because when we share these things, it's nice to know where it occurred. And then just click send, and it goes to a computer right over here to my left, and I check that computer every morning. It's the first thing I do after my cup of coffee. I go to that computer. So, all right, guys, thanks for spending your Thursday with me. Once again, activity at the Yellowstone supervolcano, a swarm that is currently underway, and seismographs not only at the supervolcano are showing signs of it, seismographs in surrounding states are showing unusual activity as well. And you can rest assured this is something that we're keeping a super close eye on. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there, guys.